mellow place right now. That's not. You're not concerned about your. I think this will be a real swell interview.
Okay, good. I'll believe you then.
All right, so let's get started. Let's get down to brass tacks. So, first question I had to ask was, sorry. Welcome back. We're with Portland Gospel with Rebecca File, General Manager, KSUA. So, Rebecca, tell us about yourself. Where are you from? What communities are you a part of?
Okay, so I'm originally from Wasilla. So I lived in Wasilla until I was 18 years old. And then I had a UA scholarship, but I didn't really know if I wanted to go to UAA or UAS. And I knew I didn't want to go to UAF because I thought, why would I move farther north? That doesn't really make any sense. So I kind of put off my decision until July when you sort of have to like pick your school. And then I all of a sudden just picked UAF, like completely out of the blue. It just all of a sudden.
What year was this?
Okay, so this was in 2007. I graduated in 2007.
Because I've noticed there's some awards down there in the hallway going back 2005, 2006. So it sounds like the program was already in full swing by the time you showed up here, right?
KSUA?
Yes.
Yeah, so KSUA has been...
Tell the KSUA story, please.
Yeah, KSUA has been around for quite a while. It was originally a commercial station, and then it kind of had some issues and it shut down, and then it reopened.
Oh, do please tell the issues.
Oh man, I think essentially, I guess I should know this story better than I do, but
the cameras are rolling. You
yeah.
can turn off if you want. But.
No, I think essentially the station went sort of bankrupt or like just way over budget to the point where they had to sort of back pay all these people who were maybe employees, maybe volunteers. It was kind of a hairy situation. And so basically the station shut down and it reopened under, with the, university holding the license and under the auspicious, as a non-commercial station, of course. So, and
you are very non-commercial, I think.
Yeah, we're a very non-commercial station. We don't even do underwriting.
Oh, wow.
No, I think being non-commercial is really essential to how KSUA is and should be in the future. And people, when we go, when we see other people in the media community in Alaska or the journalism community, if we go to the Goldie Awards in Anchorage, for example, the ABA Awards. There's all these people that come up to us, and they're really. I don't know if you want to.
Well, it's not that one getting the audio still, but tell the story. It sounds like our close-up camera has reached its maximum allotment.
So people are really, really jealous because a lot of them got their start at KSUA, and a lot of them are jealous that we are now get to work for KSUA and they have to work in commercial radio or TV or whatever.
So you're top of the heap, huh?
Well, it's just so different. You get to really do things for the sake of art and the sake of things that are wonderful for the community or wonderful for the students.
Art, I agree with you completely. I think there's some beautiful art being done at your station. I have to ask, though, about the Chancellor's mustache ad that I can remember so often here. Do you ever face institutional pushback for the steps you're trying to make, and do you feel that part of art is challenging the institutions that you're working with?
So yeah, there's definite institutional pushback at times. In general, the campus as of recently, the campus has been very supportive of everything we've done. We haven't had any issues. We don't really know our chancellors real closely. I think that's because our deans. I think probably because we're not in trouble, So that's good. It's good. We've had quite a lot of support. The only thing I would say is we did a mural project that finally got put up last summer. It's outside the pub, and it took a long time to do that project. I think there is some pushback with student projects when staff or faculty committees have to sort of deal with students, it's like, oh, it's kind of scary territory. Oh, what do these students, what do they want to do? Or if you have to put on an event, you have to jump through a lot of hoops with risk management sometimes, you know, and it's kind of just the way that bureaucracies can be, of course, anywhere. But I think there can be a fear of student projects and student ideas, and I think that a lot of students become apathetic. Well, if I can't just do it, you know, this thing I want to do, and it's going to take me 3 years to do it, then I'm not going to do it. And then I think the more student apathy there is, the less, or the more student apathy there is, the more pushback there turns out being, because...
well, I mean, of course, they're going to... the more active you are, the more people are going to get uncomfortable, and then eventually someone goes too far, right?
Yeah, or if no students are proposing projects, it's like harder and harder, because if a lot of students are proposing projects, which is my hope by us doing a lot of projects, that other students will see what we're doing and they'll want to do projects too. I think that if there's more and more going on, then the committees and the groups on campus, they're going to have to start, you know, being a little more well-oiled. You know, they're going to have to get used to the idea of it. But when there's less and less and less things going on, I think everyone gets comfortable in their little department, and they don't want to have to deal with it, because they never had to last year, and so why, you know. So
who's your audience then? Is it the students, do you think, or is it more of an amorphous community surrounding, or is it both?
So I think that our primary focus is our students. However, our actual audience is a large combination of the students now, alumni, and people from the community who are interested in listening to an alternative radio station. Also, I think high school students, because it's a little edgier, it's a little different. Those that can get exposed to it, I think, really enjoy it.
That's definitely a question that is personal to me as a person who grew up in Alaska. What is cool for the high schoolers of Fairbanks or any small Alaskan town? And how do you think you can sort of help point people in the right direction? Like, if you had to, you know, chance to sit down and be like, this is how to set and maintain a cool thing.
I don't really know how to answer that question.
No worries, it's a tough question.
I think that it's just like...
So you're filming your music video for one of your bands on the Into the Wild bus. That's cool. You know, that's like an interesting repurposing of this, what is now a dominant trope, you know, all these kids posting Alaska photos or whatever. And do you, I mean, for me the question is just, do you see yourself as leading the curve, or do you see yourself as sort of just giving your audience what they want?
I would say we do a little bit of both, and you kind of have to, of course. But I think that we know and love our mission statement really well, and we work really hard to fulfill it. And I think that in lieu of that, things lead the curve subsequently, if that makes sense. So we're a station for the students. We play music that is not found on other stations, and we're here as a lab environment for students to explore and learn new things. And so I think that we're really into all of that, and then we're also on top of that really into supporting the local community and the local art scene. And so I think everyone here believes so strongly in that we can tend to lead the curve in that way, and that we're also giving people what they want, because who doesn't want to support their local art scene? I would hope. Anyways, so.
I mean, I believe in this local art scene. I'd be real curious. I'm not connected to the Fairbanks art scene, but DIY folk punks, are they hanging out in this town? I mean, I know there's a squat camp up by Sophie's River or whatever, but...
Yeah, so DIY folk punks are kind of, it's kind of an interesting social movement, I guess. When we go to conferences and things, like we went to South by Southwest recently, you kind of see the social trends in music. In terms of folk punk, as you speak of it, it's something that's coming up because all these people are well-versed musicians, and they need to be able to play in the street, and so they play folk instruments and they scream, because people can hear their voices if they're screaming, or if they're doing gang vocals. And acoustic instruments, you can take them anywhere in the world, take them on the road, you don't need to plug them in, you can play anywhere and make a little bit of money. So it's kind of an interesting scene. I guess there are some squats. There's like, I know when I was first moved here, there was one behind the liquor store for a long time.
Which liquor store, or just the liquor store?
Oh, sorry, I say the liquor store because it's, you know, it's such a it feels like its own part of town over here on the side. But the Oak and Keg down at the corner, of course. I remember
not a KSUA sponsor.
Not KSUA sponsored in any way. But yeah, so I suppose there are. I don't really know too much other than that.
No worries. I'd like to almost take this chance to seamlessly transition now to talk about more Rebecca File, the artist, the musician. As when I was starting to do research for, I don't know, part of this, I don't know if you've ever watched the YouTube series this is going to be on?
I have not.
You're missing out. I'll tell you, that's all I'll tell you. You'll have to learn the rest
you.
One of the running jokes, though, is I want to get on KSUA. I just keep talking about this. And so I look up your YouTube presence, and it's like, wow, you have hundreds of views. You have an hour-long concert with 100 views on it, 180 views or something. Like, that's serious numbers. People, that's more than just someone's friends. That's actually an audience. So this goes back to more, we talked about what KSUA's audience is, but what's your personal audience right now in terms of when I make music, I'm making for these people?
Oh, man. So for my personal music, I guess I don't really think about it. Sorry, just push this space bar. Oh, yeah. So I guess I've never really thought about it. People who are like-minded, I suppose, and enjoy sort of quirky art music.
I'm a DIY folk punk. That's I don't know, we all have our own... If you were to give any, for someone trying to establish an online presence, trying to get out there and... What are just some easy things that anyone can do to sort of make their art globally available?
Well, in my experience, I've worked really hard with KSUA's web presence, of course, and I've done a little bit with Feeding Frenzy and a little bit with my personal music, but not as much as I've done with KSUA. And I would say the number one thing is just to, first of all, have a good product. You want to have... something you're putting out there that people are interested, but then also your graphics are really important. Make sure you've got something that's either a really, really nice high-res photo or something that's graphically designed really well. And if you're not a graphic designer, which I'm not, find a friend that is, or find a photographer friend who has taken or can take good pictures or has taken good pictures. And first of all, you need that for people because people are basing things on looks on the internet, of course, immediately. And then after that, they're going to base it on content. So something that's important is to be posting things not too often, but fairly frequently that are going to interest people. And things with photos interest people more, I guess, in general. And, I don't know.
Well, of course, I can't let this interview end without mentioning the latest triumph for KSUA, your Woody Award with the MTV University. Is that actually a triumph? I'd never heard of the MTVU before now, but it seemed a prestigious award. There were major universities you were going up against. Could you talk a little more about that?
Sure. So we won the MTVU College Radio Woody Award recently when we were down at South by Southwest. It was a really excellent experience because we got to actually accept the award down there in Austin. And we won by getting votes from our community and our campus. And I think what's really special about it is that we got votes from the whole state, which I don't think other campuses can say. Because Alaska is so it's small. It's huge, but small in other ways. And people want to support everything Alaska. There's a lot of pride in Alaska. And even though there's another college radio station in Anchorage. They were cheering us on too, because a win for Alaska is a win for everybody in a way. And so I think that it was really special that everyone came together and voted for us, and we won the award.
Such a great state. So the only question I have remaining then is just, we talked about South by Southwest from a few different lenses. Just one thing Alaskan means to me is tourism. We have all these people coming up, like I said earlier, we have all these kids looking at our images on Tumblr or whatever, scrolling past. Do you find, in your lived experience in Alaska, could you sort of describe how I personally feel like Alaska's taken off more in recent years. Into the Wild is a great example of this. And it seems like you were around at one of the epicenters of cool in Fairbanks and large center in Alaska on a certain level. Can you deny it? It's the coolest station in Fairbanks, which is the coolest city, at least until you get down to Sitka, and that's a ways away. So could you just talk a little about that? If the story to suggest itself in there.
You're directing me. You're asking me about being within these circles.
Increased visibility has come to Alaska, what's it been like creating content for an Alaska that's
Okay.
in some levels, all these people coming up to look for Alaska?
Yeah, so I think that something I talk about a lot with Brady and other friends and other people who are involved in the different art scenes around here is that there's a lot of groups in the state that are working really hard to be this like North band, I would say, or like working really hard to be this specific sound that's coming out of different places in the country. And I always feel like it's so much better to just take the resources you have in Alaska and the things that are prevalent and build off of that. And so like in Fairbanks, like it's really quirky and everyone's all accepting of all different kinds of music, and I feel like people have, for success, people kind of have to build off of that. I think there's a lot of bands in Anchorage that I feel like they're not as comfortable in their own skin. They're sort of trying to be this like certain sound, and people who are writing articles and releasing media about all these things that everyone else is releasing media about down in the States. And I just want to tap into the things that we have going on here that are going to be fascinating to people elsewhere, because we do have this limelight. And for example, we made the Dry Cabin documentary recently because, okay, we could make a documentary about something and, something that everyone else is making, or we could take this thing that's so unique to Fairbanks and sort of bank on that as our content. And so I think that that's really important, is to take the things that are prevalent and sort of interesting in your specific niche, and use those for your content, your output. That makes sense.
No, I think that's sensible. It's something to think about. I lied. I do have one more question. So you went I was watching your Haifa concert in the Pioneer Park, and you introduced, we've got this rap from 2008. It features climate change. It features call for universal health care.
Uh-huh.
And the guy introducing it, I don't know his name. We'll have to seamlessly edit this out. So something. But the guy introducing it is sort of like, I have this certain awkwardness about this now. And it's an awkwardness I identify with as someone trying to create political art, because it feels like in 2008 it was much easier to just go up there and, be like, we want this big change from what was. And now the changes that we want now are much more incremental, much more. And I mean, obviously, you're general manager of a radio station. You believe in some level in authority and in working within the system. So do you think, this goes back for me to sort of just, why are we producing art? Why are you putting art out there? Do you think that Alaska as a whole, not even Alaska as a whole, do you think KSUA, which is a much more liberal station than many others in Fairbanks, do you find yourself identified with politics, or do you think that that's just a personal artistic thing, or just talk a little bit about your relationship with politics, art, and revolution, please?
So KSUA is kind of supposed to be non-biased and non-political. We're interested, but okay, so there's a but. So we are focused.
That's why I'm here.
We are focused, of course, a lot on art, and music is political, and we do play, Democracy Now!, which might have a little bit of a,
which tells the truth.
Yeah.
It's a thing in this world.
Yeah, we play Democracy Now!, FSRN, and of course, students aren't who are on air are not going to be talking about specific political things in general or their political opinions, but by nature, university students tend to be more liberal, I guess we could say. So I would say, we have no specific political affiliation, but our art that we are putting out, producing, does in some ways, but that is as varied as anything else, and that is not something that I can speak to. Yeah, that's not something I can really speak to in specificness.
Well, I wouldn't. No worries. Real quick, just tell us your position at the station and what that actually means.
So I'm the general manager at KSUA, and I will be until May 11th or so. I'm graduating in the fall, and so I'm leaving the position soon, and someone else is going to be taking over the position. But I manage the station. It's TV and it's radio. It's both elements, but we've kind of worked to make it more of a just big multimedia project rather than just specifically TV. So we've done a lot of writing, website work, lots of different things that involve media, and we have journalism students on staff, and so just trying to basically do a bunch of cool stuff.
Post-graduation plans?
I am not sure what I'm going to be doing after next fall.
Are you staying in Fairbanks?
I am not sure. I'm not sure yet. I love Fairbanks, but I don't know.
Yeah, Fairbanks is lucky to have you. Thank you very much, Rebecca Filo. It's been such a pleasure interviewing you.
Oh, thank you, Alex.
Peace.
Okay.
Did that go all right for you?
I don't know. I guess so. Are you really gonna use the whole thing, or are you gonna chop up pieces?
Well, people only watch the first 3 minutes of my YouTube web series.
Yeah.
It's a 10-minute show already, so I was thinking I might. My goal is to seamlessly intermesh clips of you. I mean, this is also partly my private study in video editing, but like YouTube clips of performance come into pithy bon mots, float away into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah, sure. It sounds like I need to get some more footage from the incoming fellow, though.
Yeah. Well, you can't say that he's not officially hired yet, so we can't officially announce that he's the next general manager. But
okay. Well, then I don't want to interview him until I can tell him.
Okay.
Because that just doesn't make any.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So in the next couple of weeks, he should be official.
Well.
You okay?
No, I mean, it was sort of, well, I'll tell you to be honest, no one's watching my show, so I figured if I got you on, at least some people would find something.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
It's all self-aggrandizement at a certain point, I worry. And also, though, I mean, it is a nifty story. Carrie Stewart invited me over one time when she was housing at your house. And
oh, nice.
I didn't get a thorough investigation or anything, but it seems like a very lovely place.
Thanks.
Particularly the upstairs jam room. It's just
yeah.
I mean, do you spend a lot of time just jamming? Or?
We spend a lot of time playing music, for sure. We've been talking more about having jams or having people over to jam, but for the most part, it's a lot of band practices and stuff like that right now. So.
Well, that'll be the second interview we have to do sometime about intentionality, and I kept trying to get around to it. I never find the right words, just in terms of. I feel like I spent a lot of time. Definitely, there was this period in Chicago. I was doing improv jam stuff all the time. It was awesome, but ultimately, it doesn't. It's very much it's a selfish art, and I don't think you can really create a productive change with a selfish art, because ultimately the more beautiful it is, the more people just look at you and well, why don't I do my own beautiful selfish art?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah. It's just your opinion at some point.
Yeah. Well, good luck with your show and everything. I'll try to get on and watch some of your other episodes.
They're great. Start with, do them in reverse order. It's a better story that way.
Okay.
Let's put this back in its fancy bag.